For 150 years, the International Association of Fire Chiefs has provided a forum for fire and emergency service leaders to exchange ideas, develop professionally, and uncover the latest products and services available to first responders.
IAFC helps me build on my leadership skills. It also helps us to learn different training opportunities for us to be able to receive training that we don't have in our local communities. To be able to come to these conferences and be able to meet new people, listen to other fire chiefs or other firefighters from around the country, their experiences and stuff like that. So.
Coming to these conferences, we get knowledge, mentorship, networking. Most recently, we've attended some classes here for electric vehicles, which is the kind of a new challenge for us within the fire department.
For me, the benefit is the educational opportunities that you get, and then for events like this, the opportunity to meet with other fire leaders from around the country and around the globe and be able to exchange ideas.
And Fire Rescue International is the premier global gathering of those committed to improving the leadership of firefighters and emergency responders worldwide. This is IAFC-TV.
The ability to receive this award for an amazing job that the crew did that day says a lot for us.
Honored for heroism, we sit down with this year's Ben Franklin Valor Award winner, plus Chiefs of the Year. And from car fires to extrication issues, hear how lithium-ion batteries are causing new obstacles for first responders. Plus, we pick up our tour of departments blazing new trails in the firefighting arena. There is a lot to take in on this exciting second day, and we want to make sure you never miss a minute. There are plenty of ways to catch the latest IAFC TV episode. You can find us on the TVs stationed throughout the convention center, on the in-house channels at both of our partner hotels, on the homepage of the FRI 23 website, and on our Twitter and YouTube channels. It's the most prestigious award presented by the IAFC, the Ben Franklin Award for Valor, and this year we are thrilled to have the recipient, Hilton Head Fire Chief Chris Blankenship, in studio with us this morning. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned, this is an incredible award that is presented. How does it feel to you to be honored by your peers in this manner?
I think it's amazing. From a smaller department that doesn't fight a lot of fire, I think to have the ability to receive this award for an amazing job that the crew did that day says a lot for us.
And this award is given to someone who has exhibited expert training in saving a life. Can you talk a little bit about the incident that led you to this award and also the impact that it's had on you?
Yeah, so I remember the day very well because it was actually the day I was announced as the next fire chief. So really my first day of knowing that I was going to become the new fire chief. That night we had this fire. It was a very large short-term rental in an oceanfront district in one of our communities, and the call came in as a 75% involved house fire, which we don't typically have house fires that get to 75% involved without us knowing about it sooner.
Okay.
So going to that call, the crews had told me, they're like, yeah, maybe not. It's that big, but they got on scene and it truly was 75% involved. And on the way there, they had heard that there was 3 people entrapped. Out of the 6 people of the house that night, 3 were still unaccounted for. The crew immediately went into service. My truck company particularly went into a house that we would not typically ever go interior on unless there was known life safety risks. So went in, they immediately found one gentleman on the outside on a roof that had gotten out of the house and quickly got him down. And then the company of Truck 6 went in probably the only door they could have gone in that wasn't involved in fire, and did a search and found Amy, the fire victim that they pulled out. She was unconscious, unresponsive inside. They pulled her out. They immediately started CPR in the front yard on her while other crews were still responding. The medic unit got there. They were able to resuscitate her on scene. got her into the back of the ambulance and ultimately ended up transporting her to Augusta, Georgia, to the burn center. So she suffered from smoke inhalation, burns across her body. But they were, we've since met with her. She's made a full recovery. It's an amazing story.
I mean, how does that feel for you to know that thanks to your crew, she's still alive today?
Oh, it was the most amazing. We actually brought her back for an award ceremony we had.
Wow.
And just to see her on stage and thanking all those people that helped save her life was truly remarkable.
Well, as I mentioned, you are now the chief at Hilton Head Island Fire Department. That's a department that you started off as an intern with, and now you've worked your way up. That's an incredible feat, and I feel like something that you don't hear a lot of these days. How important do you think it was to the success of your career to start with the department and then work your way up the ranks?
I think it's very important for me. I love the fact that I will only spend my time and my career in one department. Coming in as an intern in college, I had the opportunity to come to Hilton Head and get to know the guys and know the department and realize that I liked it and wanted to stay. So 22 years later, here I am as the new fire chief. But in a department our size, about 150 people, to know all of the levels of the department and to be able to say that, I've kind of done all of those, is important. And, to me, community is very important. We are very community driven in our department, and, living and working on the island has definitely benefited me in my career.
Well, your career is certainly an admirable one. Do you have any piece of advice to maybe the younger generation or somebody who's that future intern or just coming into the department?
I would say one of the biggest things my father told me when I was very young is you have to have fun. You have to come to work and have fun, because if you don't enjoy your job, it could be a miserable existence for you. So I would say to the next generation of firefighters, it's a job. There's a time to do business, but there's also a time to have fun. So I try to instill in my staff and in my crews that you should still have fun in everything you do.
Awesome. Well, Chief Blankenship, congratulations on your award. Very well deserved, and we certainly thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, since 1996, the Fire Chief of the Year Award has recognized one career and one volunteer firefighter for their leadership and overall contributions to the fire service. We are absolutely honored to introduce you to this year's recipients, Chief Thomas Bell and Chief Brian Fennessy.
I'm still a little bit in disbelief. When I got the call from the executive director, I was really floored by it, and I think having your peers recognize you in this way is just a tremendous honor and just so humbling. So I'm still having a tough time processing it, but I am honored and feel just so privileged. What sparked my interest in the firefighting profession was actually quite by accident. Getting out of high school at the time, I didn't have a lot of options, and I had uncles that were in the fire service, and they pointed me towards the U.S. Forest Service. And literally not long out of high school, I became a U.S. Forest Service hotshot and got to fight fire all over the western United States, and did that for 13 years, leading crews all over the West, and just loved the fire service. Really, you must have a servant's heart. To be a public servant is a privilege. It's not something that you're owed. It is something that really you have to want to serve. And if you do, you will be engaged in one of the most fulfilling and rewarding careers that anybody could have. But it's a selfless profession, and I think I and most firefighters are rewarded many times over, because we know deep down the services that we delivered, have helped so many people along the way.
Very humbled, there's no doubt about that. I did not expect this. The guys gave me no clue of any sorts. It's an incredible honor to be here. It's an incredible honor to receive this award. There's no doubt about that. I'm very humbled. I got started in the fire service in a career of being a fireman. It's a really funny story. I'm a golf course kid. I was born and raised on a golf course in the city of Greensburg. There was a gentleman that worked there I got really close to, and we wound up riding together up and down. I'd sit in the passenger seat, he'd be driving, pick up these golfers, and he said to me one day, he said, "Hey, how would you like to go see a fire truck and a fire station from where I'm a fireman at?" I said, "Okay." I don't know, it seems like, when you're a little kid, the amazement of looking at the fire truck, it was huge. There was hose laying off of it. And it just, that smell, and the fire station, you know, oh, I could stay here, you know. I saw the bunker gear that was on the sides and everything. It just amazed me. It's just, I thought, this has got to be me, no doubt. And here I am today. Some of the most rewarding aspects of the job is, you know, look on people's faces when you do something. In our town, we're so involved with the general public in our community. We offer meals. We go out and we get donations to get meals for less fortunate people. We hand deliver those meals to the people. Those are probably the most rewarding things of the job in our community. The biggest thing that I would advise or give advice to if anybody was coming in to do this, don't be afraid of change. That was the best thing that was given to me, and that was by one of our firefighters. Don't be afraid to change. You'll have resistance, there's no doubt about it, but the biggest thing is make sure that you can do change and everybody make it so they accept the change. And just keep doing it. Don't backtrack and don't sit there and say, I can't do it, I can't do it. Never have that I can't do it. Always have that I can do it. And change is the one thing, and that's where I learned, and that's why I'm here today.
We kick off our tour across the country, starting in Eastern Oregon. The Umatilla County Fire District is the sole paramedic provider covering 620 square miles. Let's see how, through partnerships and innovative programs, they are blazing a trail to success.
Umatilla County Fire District 1 is the largest fire district in Eastern Oregon. We provide fire suppression, fire prevention services, paramedic ambulance services, and are one of 13 regional hazmat teams for the state of Oregon. We work out of 5 stations covering 230 square miles with an ambulance service area of 620 square miles. It's a nice mix of high-tech and farmers. I call it haystacks to data centers, you know. It's kind of, we run the gamut. Huge structure fires, huge wildland fires.
Public safety's got to be #1 priority for a mayor. The Umatilla County Fire District 1 is a huge strategic partner in the success of our community. Providing public safety resources to our constituents in a timely fashion, super critical for the future development and lifestyle of our families.
Our overall goal, of course, is to have a healthy workforce, to have a good, healthy community, and part of that is how we serve our community members by providing good, effective, and efficient service. As the fire chief, I want to build a great team around me, and that converts to better service to our public, to our community members. That's what we're here for.
From groundbreaking technical rescue capabilities to pioneering public education initiatives, the Chattanooga Fire Department is making innovative strides in 2 very vital areas.
The Chattanooga Fire Department services nearly 200,000 people and 145 square miles. And of that, we have 26 fire companies, 20 fire stations, and nearly 450 firefighters. So under Mayor Tim Kelly and the One Chattanooga plan, it's really sparked a lot of growth. Over the past 4 or 5 years, we've really made some impacts on getting the firefighters the tools and equipment that they need.
We just became part of a Tri-State Mutual Aid program. That way the people are covered no matter whether we're busy or not. We're always going to have trucks that are coming in to help, no matter if they're Chattanooga trucks or other agency departments that are coming in to help us.
Our team has really gotten proficient at the different levels of technical rescue, from rope rescue to confined space to collapse rescue and to trench rescue. We've really become one of the premier departments in our region that provide a lot of that training. The last 150 years have been a very good 150 years. We have an excellent reputation with our public. Our taxpayers respect what we do, and they know that we need tools and resources to be able to pull it off.
The Brockton, Massachusetts Fire Department is already a leader in their state, but now they are spearheading projects that make them a leader in fire safety across the country. The department has worked tirelessly to ensure public safety while also serving as a model for firefighters in training.
We always laugh and say that the city of Brockton is a big little town. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows a lot about each other.
We've been able to develop a great team environment here where people want to do better for the community, they want to do better for themselves, and they want to do better for one another.
I think what sets us apart from other departments is our emphasis on training.
personally place a high emphasis on training because I know what it takes, and I want our young firefighters to be prepared for the real thing.
Everybody from the chief's office to the union president to the members that are on the floor here at the firehouse are all striving to get the same challenges completed and make sure that we keep the residents of the city safe.
We will continue to do that by always looking ahead into the future and using all the tools, equipment, funding possible to best serve our community in Brockton.
In the United States, firefighters face about 400 calls for vehicle fires each and every day, and usually those fires are extinguished completely within about 30 minutes, unless that vehicle is an electric vehicle. Chief Michael O'Brien is here now with the new problem that firefighters are facing. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's go back to a traditional vehicle fire call.
Sure.
Those are put out fully within about 30 minutes, you said. How are those handled?
You know, it's one, maybe two fire companies. They pull up, secure their roadway or the driveway, wherever they're at. Deploy a line, and usually within a couple minutes they have the bulk of the fire knocked down. They do some overhaul. Tow truck comes, they're off the scene in under about 30 minutes.
And once the fire is out with those traditional vehicles, it's out?
Yeah, very few rekindles after, for sure.
So enter the electric vehicle.
Sure.
What is the problem with these lithium-ion batteries?
Our manufacturers are making beautiful cars, and they're working really to harden where the batteries are. Well, the battery is that stored energy, and we just can't quite gain access to those. Manufacturers say we can't open up that battery pack. So if you think about putting a bunch of batteries in your fridge and you try to extinguish it, that would be very difficult without opening the door. And so firefighters don't have a lot of access to get water to cool where they need it. And so they just need to let that chemical chain reaction go and really work to just protect exposures and protect things adjacent to the vehicle and let that battery pack go through its thermal event.
So you've just got to essentially let it burn out.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at a fully charged battery, how long are we talking here?
It varies on manufacturer and the
Okay.
size of the battery and how the makeup is, but we're seeing a lot about 2 hours for the most case for letting that thing go through its thermal event, and they can probably safely tow it after that.
And it also, I understand, requires a lot of water
Sure.
to try to extinguish these fires.
Yeah.
If you're having to utilize water for possibly several hours on these electric vehicle fires, what does that mean for other calls that might be going unanswered that need that water as well?
So the fire service is really battling with this idea just to let it go through its thermal event, cool exposures, and then if they do need to use water, it's just a cooling to try to cool that battery pack to stop other cells from going into a thermal event. And so it's a very slow, methodical process that's going to take a lot of adjustment for all of us, just in trying to mitigate these as best for our community as a whole.
And there is also the concern of reignition.
Yeah.
What do you do there?
Yeah, and so, really in this case, it's working with our second partners, our second responders, our tow companies. How they tow matters, how they store them matters, and it's all one big picture. So changing our fire service mindset that it's not just the initial fire with the battery, it's that whole event, what that could be from the time we get engaged to the time that battery pack can get to a recycler or something else to get it down the road. So we have to keep educating our community, our second providers, our law enforcement partners, in really just trying to come up with this collective approach so we don't have second events, because nobody wants to go a second time.
Did you ever think that your career as a fire chief would lead you to become a lithium-ion battery expert?
Not at all, not at all. But it's one of those things that's what I love about the IFC is we have some tremendous members. We have some tremendous people willing to help, and we have some great relationships. And that's one of the things we're seeing with this lithium-ion project. We have federal partners, we have local partners, we have fire chiefs just jumping in and sharing that information, and it shows the true power of the IFC.
And shows how adaptive you are,
Absolutely.
with the changing technology. Well,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for all of your information. Thank you for your work on this, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And electric vehicles are not only presenting a problem when it comes to battery fires, extrication from these EVs are also a new issue for first responders to tackle. Lieutenant Chris Soda lays out the new challenges ahead.
We do electric vehicle training for first responders. We've been teaching really across the country to fire departments and to MABIS organizations to bring electric vehicle training to first responders. We do classroom, and then we also incorporate a hands-on where we have a focus on rapid extrication techniques, battery access techniques, and then fire suppression. We have a duty to protect the civilians that are paying us and that we expect, a high quality service. And unfortunately, we are horribly underprepared because we don't have the training, and it's not because we're not trying to, it's just that the training isn't there. I think we're accustomed to responding to internal combustion engine vehicles, post-collision, and we know the hazards that they present, and we train on those all the time. Whereas with electric vehicles, we're dealing with lithium-ion batteries. We're not very good at identifying that these are electric vehicles and really time or the ability to rapidly extricate, because we have an inability to monitor those batteries, so we can't tell if they're going into thermal runaway. And if they do start to go into thermal runaway without some sort of under-vehicle nozzle, it's going to be difficult for us to cool those, and now we can have vehicle fire with entrapment. And that's just something that we don't see that often. When we ventilate a house, we just put a hole in the roof, right? But that's not true. We have to place that hole correctly to get effective ventilation. And with these types of vehicle fires, we have to identify where the battery is, and then we have to efficiently and effectively apply water to that battery pack to be able to draw that heat away from those cells and cool it to prevent it from going to thermal runaway. Ineffective water application is not going to result in cooling of the batteries. My biggest piece of advice would be training, SOP development, so that we're all operating on the same page, and that includes any mutual aid or auto aid companies that we may be running with, and then starting to look at the different technologies that are out there. It's not one solution to these EVs, post-collision or vehicle on fire. There's no silver bullet to stopping these or preventing these. It's a big toolbox with a lot of different tools and different options inside there to be able to overcome and mitigate these incidents.
And on that note, meet Chief Robert Resende at the San Diego Fire Rescue Department, who are leading the charge against lithium battery fires. They're not only tackling this critical issue, but also inspiring the fire rescue community to find and share solutions to this growing challenge.
The risks with lithium-ion batteries come in a variety of forms depending on the chemistry, the size, and the type of batteries that are being utilized. Obviously, we're going to see lithium-ion batteries in micro-mobility devices, scooters, hoverboards, but also in electric vehicles, energy storage walls that are inside garages, as well as industrial-sized energy storage systems for the grid. The hazards, however, are similar across the board.
The lithium-ion poses a significant risk on just the chemistry that these batteries are made from. They're challenging to extinguish.
Regulations have not been able to keep up with the amount of technological changes, and so it's something that we need to really get in front of to be able to protect the public and be able to protect our firefighters when they're responding to these types of incidents.
Keeping it in California, the San Francisco Fire Department serves an estimated 1.5 million people, providing fire suppression, fire prevention, and emergency medical services to the residents, visitors, and workers within San Francisco's 49 square miles. They all do so while focusing on the health and well-being of their own department.
The San Francisco Fire Department was founded in 1866. We do some things exactly the same as we've done for 100 years, but we've also incorporated all sorts of other things into this department, including EMS and community paramedicine, surf rescue, cliff rescue. We have boats out on the water, all sorts of things. So it has grown and expanded, and I think it's the greatest department. The future for the San Francisco Fire Department is really, really bright, because some things we will still do the same because they are tried and true traditions, because of how well it's worked, and to have pride in our tradition and have pride in the risks we're taking and the challenges we're taking on in the future. But I have absolute faith in the people that we've hired in this department to carry this department forward.
When it comes to responding to all types of emergencies, not just fires, the Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue maintain constant readiness. Check out how they are serving the areas of Washoe County, Nevada through innovative safety programs.
Well, our agency protects about 1,000 square miles in unincorporated Washoe County, Nevada. We offer full advanced life support EMS services, as well as a wet team with a major river running through. We're a high seismic zone. We have a substantial wildland-urban interface in addition to the structure threat that we have. So we have a variety of risks that we need to be trained for and ready to respond to at all times. One of the joys about running this organization is the fine customer service that we deliver through our employees. I have 207 ambassadors that just love talking to people, and our citizens love talking to our firefighters. It's so inspiring to be able to serve people, but they want to know what they need to do to make their life safer, their home safer, and it is just a happy place to be in.
As we commemorate 150 years of IAFC and celebrate the incredible advances that we've seen, it's important to take a look back with the men and the women who have helped us achieve those milestones along the way. Here now is our Past President Minute.
To serve as the IAFC president was a tremendous honor for me, and it was a goal that I aspired to for a long time. And it gave me a chance to see some of the things I advocated for many, many years as a state president and regional president, and finally bring them to fruition as IAFC president.
Well, first of all, it was a great honor to assume the position of the IAFC presidency in 1998. And it's really because of being selected by your peers.
Serving as the IAFC president was probably the highlight of my fire service career. It's a great honor to be bestowed upon by your fellow members and to have the leadership of the fire service.
To be selected by a lot of fine people out there, chief officers across the country that I had a lot of respect for, to be chosen from among them was certainly an honor and a pretty amazing experience.
That is the real crux and reason that the IAFC exists, to speak with a single voice for the emergency service managers that are leading our departments throughout the country, throughout North America, and through much of the world.
Looking back over the 150 years, the advocacy of the IAFC influencing health and safety, influencing the legislature, grants and programs and things over the years have been tremendous.
As I was finishing my term as president in Atlanta at FRI, I introduced the incoming officers, and it was a real treat for me to introduce Rhoda Mae Kerr as the first female president of this association.
The future of the IAFC is the people in attendance at FRI 2023. The fire officer, company officer section, you see many battalion chiefs and assistant chiefs. They are the leaders and the future of the fire service.
The future of the IAFC has always been in the younger members coming up through the organization, bringing in the new ideas, the enthusiasm that they have. And I think in this day and age, especially with us becoming a more and more diverse group,
Our thanks to those presidents for their service all these years and for taking the time to share their thoughts with us this week. That's a wrap for Day 2 at FRI 23. We've enjoyed having you with us today, and remember, if you missed any part of today's episode, or if you'd like to rewatch any part, there are plenty of ways to do so. You can find us on the TVs stationed throughout the Convention Center, on the in-house channels at both of our partner hotels, on the homepage of the FRI 23 website, and on our Twitter and YouTube channels. We've still got one more day of IAFC TV, so make sure to join us right back here again tomorrow. Until then, go have a great one.